Although the name on the back of my jersey is extremely legendary when it comes to the sport of football, the Sanders you know and the one I come from are a tear between two completely different worlds. See, they grew up rich, they had it, they was popping, famous, successful, money, everything you could imagine. But me on the other hand, poverty and poor doesn't even explain half of my situation. Losing my pops early on in my life to the streets and growing up in a house with just my mom and 6 other siblings, I've been a man in the house since I've been a kid. And growing up in specific parts of Texas, you gotta be strong, you gotta have your head on the swivel and be on point at all times. But I've always been good. I'm a solid 6'3", 240, so I never had no issues. And finishing out my senior year strong, only ranked as a 2-star recruit, I only have one major Division I offer, and it's the only chance I have to go change my family's life, and I refuse to play with it. Chapel Hill, the University of North Carolina, my only Division I offer on the table, and of course I had to accept it without any questions. And to back my size, well, my skill set typically doesn't go to ball in the ACC. When I first got to campus, I felt like I didn't belong at all. I got homesick so fast, but after a few phone calls with my mama, talking to a few of my siblings, I knew that leaving Chapel Hill was out of the question. And that was all the fuel I needed to put my head down and just work. And before you knew it, as a freshman, I won the starting job and I would be RB1 going into the season. And now all of the talks around campus and all over social media, who is this 6'3", nearly 250-pound running back? And am I even going to make any noise? Coming into this season, nobody except for me and the ones closest to me thought I would make anything shake here in the ACC. But I want to be something completely different no one's ever seen, especially coming out of this conference. I want to break down the barrier. With my skill set, my size, I can be a difference maker. I have an elite quarterback in Drake May, one of the best in all of college football, a proven offensive line, and we have a slew of dogs at the receiver position. And taking everything I just said into account, our running game is going to open up like no other. And the way I'm balling against South Carolina tonight, I'll be a household name before you know it. Now we're trying to make our way back upfield, getting to the end zone to completely seal this game off. And after getting into open space, making a guy miss, getting shifty, picking up another huge 20+ yard run. As much as I'm viewed as just a ground and pound running back, especially at my size, they don't understand I am very shifty in and outside the tackles. I can make it happen either way. And here in my college debut, we secure a blowout win over South Carolina. And not only that, I'm awarded player of the game honors, and I go for nearly 200 yards rushing with a touchdown. Week 2 action, we got mid-Tennessee here at the crib breaking out these all-black unis early this season. I love it. One of the main reasons I wasn't highly recruited throughout high school, even though on tape I was physically imposing to just about everybody we played, there was a glaring issue that was obvious on tape. My wind and conditioning was terrible. I would break off a big run through a defender or two, make a guy miss, and I would be gassed, completely finished for the day, cooked. And the second I arrived on campus, my strength and conditioning coach, that was the #1 key thing he forced me to focus on so I can be a monster the upcoming season. And so far it's been serving me well, breaking the tackle before I can make it back to the line of scrimmage, running through another defender, picking up the first down, a monstrous run. And now I can withstand everything that comes with a long drive like this one, picking up the touchdown here on 3rd and goal. Now here in the 4th quarter, this game is way closer than anybody thought it would be, especially with us being at home, but these boys came to ball nonetheless. Taking the handoff, exploding off to my left, great blocks from my receivers, picking up 20+ yards on this play, putting us around the 19-yard line. And now here on the 3-yard line, everybody's expecting me to take this handoff and get into the end zone, which I could have, but the read option works to perfection. Drake walks in untouched. And why not actually hand the ball off to me, going for the 2-point conversion, 2 back-to-back runs for 3 yards, and a success. And with this most likely being my last series of the game, Drake actually hits me with this pass across the middle, and if I would have kept my balance, I would have ran through this safety and went and got me some more chicken. You want to talk about feeding the beast, nearly 30 carries, a $186 on the ground with the touchdown. I did my thing. Great team win for me and the guys. First play from scrimmage here against Georgia Tech on the road, and believe it or not, before the game, these boys is chirping like crazy. He got chippy before the game. I'm talking about we going back and forth, pushing, shoving. I was surprised nobody ain't throw no punches. I guess nobody didn't want to get disqualified or kicked from the game, but boy, when I tell you it was rowdy, it was going crazy. So now we go from just trying to get a great team win, get the dub, go back to the crib and enjoy it, bro. We want to dominate, want to smash these boys in the mouth, but their level of play has increased as well because they coming out here hitting hard. And now we're within 20 yards of the end zone where I shine the most, getting this handoff, using my elite speed to get to the outside, and at this point I got a handout saying bye-bye to these Georgia Tech defenders. Touchdown. Now a huge 4th and 3 situation. I'm lined up in a slot on this one, and before I allow myself to be useless, I'm gonna break this right off, get into the end zone, break it off again, and a crazy circus catch for the touchdown. We got the lead. 2 touchdowns just here in the first half. Now making this catch, making a guy miss, putting on the brakes, and I got out of bounds untouched. You better believe I'm talking crazy to this defense. What can they do with me? After almost getting ejected just before halftime, coming back out for the 3rd quarter, my coaches told me to calm down, just play my game, lock lock in, because at this point, this is not a regular football game. This is intense. And now we're here in the fourth quarter where the game is going to take a turn for the worse for one of the two teams, and me and Drake have already made our mind up that it won't be us. He picks up the first down here on 2nd and 5. Going with the speed option here on 1st and 10, I get the pitch from Drake. The blocks ain't set up the way I needed them to, but that's fine. I'll do it all by myself, running through 2 Georgia Tech DBs, and if this lineman didn't catch me, I would have walked this one in. And now here on 1st and goal, taking his hand off, planting my foot, cutting it back, getting to the end zone to increase our lead. With 30 seconds left in regulation, we have to get at least into field goal range, making this catch, picking up the first, and getting out of bounds to stop the clock. We made our way downfield, and with 6 seconds to spare, it all comes down to 1 kick. It's up and it's good. Not only do we take a 2-point lead, we take the win here against Georgia Tech. The last time I heard anything about ECU being good in football was probably back in the old days, back when Chris Johnson used to play, and that was like 2005, and nonetheless, they're 0-3 to start the season. It's 2nd and 6, and check your boy out in some pass pro. Drake has the cleanest pocket of his life, and somehow he still manages to throw a terrible pick, and without my help, he probably would have ran through him and got the pick 6. It's 2nd and long. I'm taking his handoff, cutting back into a wide open hole. Great blocking up front. I'm telling you, I'm one off season of track training from breaking runs like this off to the crib. Anything within 5 yards for our offense is almost guaranteed, and that read option is like taking candy from a baby. On a week-to-week basis, I'm trying to focus on ways I can get better as a runner. I know I can't heavily improve in the speed or physical department, but those little key differences can definitely be fine-tuned. Overall, my mission here in my freshman season is to take my game to the next level. As good as I may be or think I am, I know I can be a lot better moving forward. I'm trying to have a long-lasting career here in North Carolina, and I know it's too early for me to be thinking about the league, but everything I do play by play, week by week, season by season is going to add up and determine if I'll get a shot at the league or not. And my overall goal is to prove that I'm more than just a big body running back. I can do everything that you need me to within any offensive system, like here on 1st and 10, making a toe tap and catch on the sideline, and to cap off an already fantastic drive, an easy handoff, walk-in touchdown to seal this game up. And to my surprise, just here within the first 3 games of the season, I've made my way onto the Heisman watch list. Amongst the other 4 running backs that fill out this list, I think it's the first time I've ever seen anything like this. Currently ranked number 16 in the nation. Starting off this season 4-0, knowing that I'm one of the key factors that led us to this point is crazy. I bet all them teams regret not offering me. I love being a Tar Heel. More than appreciative and grateful to be in this position, I dedicated this season to a multitude of things. Mainly to my family, but to prove that I'm more than worthy of the scholarship offer, that I can come in, ball, be the day one starter, and be that guy to change this program and take us to the top. And I've already done just about everything I set out to do just here in my freshman season, but mainly to prove to my family, whether I'm back home in Texas or all the way over here in North Carolina, I'm going to be the difference maker in our family tree. And as well as things can go, I always find myself getting trapped in my thoughts, thinking about the negative injuries and everything that a player can go through, especially a player my size, my stature, at my position. I try not to think about those things, but they often catch me. I lay in my bed at night and my thoughts just run, thinking about everything I've been through to get to this point. My hard work, dedication, and faith in the Lord has led me to a position to really succeed in life. But one thing I've learned about life leading up to this point, don't get too high on the highs and don't dwell on the lows. You got to find some common ground, so when things go either way, you're prepared. So no matter how this season ends, good or bad, I'm prepared for the worst. And right now, with our undefeated record on the line, Virginia Tech is giving us a game. And now we have to march down pretty much the entire field here on 3rd and 9. Just in the 2.5 minutes left, I make this catch, picking up the first down, a crucial, much needed first down at that. Now down 1 score, under 30 seconds left in this game, Drake is going to drop back and connect with my boy JJ in the end zone for a crazy diving catch for the touchdown. We successfully get the 2-point conversion, getting the win over Conference 4 Virginia Tech, and a close one, but nonetheless, we walk out of here and remain undefeated. Home game this week, not only conference play, but against the U, one of the better teams we're going to face all this season. Having a good game this week, not only for myself, but our team, can be season defining. We run it here on 1st and 10, making an unorthodox stop and go in the middle of the gap, but I see a hole that I feel like most backs would, and I explode through it. The safeties try to close out, but my elite speed, ain't nobody catching me, up the middle of the field for an insane lead-taking touchdown. Plays like that is exactly why I'm in the Heisman conversation so early this season, but plays like this, going off script, catching the ball out of the backfield, I'm an excellent receiver. This is going to land me on some boards of some NFL scouts. We got an inside zone run here trying to pick up the quick first down on 3rd and 1, but instead I'm going to break this one outside. Too much free real estate out here, manhandling my way for a big 12-yard pickup. Now ranked the number 6 team in the nation, the U is trying to stun the college football world by handing us our first L. They made this an uphill battle going into the 4th quarter, but as long as I'm on the field and got anything to say about it, I'm going to give my last breath trying to secure the W. A grown man run, getting into the end zone to put us on the board. And at this point, going for 2 is mandatory. I could have hit the little gap and walked in untouched, touch, but I wanted to run over their linebacker to send a message. We ain't going away easy. Now trying to have a better fourth quarter than we did in the third, taking his handoff, weaving my way to the outside, getting upfield. I wanted to take this one back to the crib so bad. We desperately need it. And I feel like we didn't run the ball enough. Only 16 carries, $139 on the ground, 2 major touchdowns in the clutch. What more could you ask from your starting back? Taking a look at the numbers, only one back outperformed not only me, but every other running back in the nation, but somehow my name gets scratched off the Heisman watch list is insane. You can go from number 6 in the nation, running backs on the Heisman watch list, to in a blink of an eye, all of that has changed completely. And that just proves my point. Anything can happen to anybody, any team, especially in this game at any given time. You just have to be prepared. But most importantly, you got to know how to bounce back. Outrunning what could have been a tackle in the backfield, pulling off a nasty spin move in space, getting to the sideline, diving in for a touchdown. Now backed up into our own damn end zone, taking his handoff to a fully loaded right side of the field, putting on the brakes. And I guess this caught everyone by surprise. No one's over here running down the middle of the field, going untouched to the crib for my biggest run of the season. Every time I step on the field, I give it my all, but after hearing what's been said in the media after taking our first L, I'm giving it my all and some. And I guess that's just one of my flaws, not only as a man, but as a person. Hearing things that are said about me negatively, even though I had a great game, is crazy. It just bothers me, and I guess I got to get over it, but it's nearly impossible to do that. It just blows my mind how somebody can sit there and criticize you for what you did or didn't do on the field that week. I put it all on the line every single time I step on that field, and they talk as if they can do any better. And as beneficial as it could be to just block out the noise, it actually helps me a bit, fuels my game, turns me up to the next level when I let those things kind of seep in. I go crazy. And it's okay to let these things seep in from time to time. Like I said, they fuel my play, but I have to have a balance. I can't let these things destroy my mental. We secure the W in conference play in blowout fashion, and I pull off my nastiest, biggest play of the season in front of a home crowd. If you ask me, that's how you respond to controversy. And since last week, I would say my coaches learned a lesson. Feed the beast. They doubled my carries and I doubled my yards. And I had 2 more touchdowns than I did last week. Being here at UNC, I've quickly learned the intensity and how important it is to dominate and ball against our fellow Carolina teams. And if you don't think so, how about a opening 76-yard house call to the crib for a touchdown? I've been watching a lot of film on myself this season, and I've noticed I've taken a lot of inside runs outside instead of getting straight downhill. And I don't think it's a bad thing by no stretch of the imagination, because I'm having a lot of success doing so. But at times I think what I'm capable of and what I've been reminded by from my coaches is any one-on-one situation, a linebacker, DB, whatever, safety, corner, it doesn't matter. It can be scary for them. And because I've been hell-bent, extremely determined to prove that I'm not just a one-dimensional hit the hole, drop my shoulder type of back, I've damn near avoided my physical gifts, which I've been blessed with, that can be a huge part of my game, that's proven to be a big part of my skill set to separate me from any other back in the country. But this week I'm putting it all to use. Not only have I run by a couple of guys, but I put a few in the ground as well. And it's having a mindset and a mind frame like this that I feel like separates me from everyone. Being able to pick up on things and adjust during the season is going to separate me from every other back in the nation. And what you see on film and the numbers on those stat sheets are going to speak for themselves. Running through guys, making some miss, fighting for extra yards, the whole nine. What was looking like a blowout turned out to be an extremely close game, way closer than it should have been, but a huge win on the road. We walk away with a W. And it's pretty much guaranteed. Anytime I go over 30 carries, I'm going to explode for a huge game. 245 yards on the ground with 3 touchdowns. For the last couple of weeks, we've started off every game down 1 score in the first quarter, but also these last couple of weeks, I strike off a huge run to start the game to tie it up. Off to the crib, I go for a huge touchdown. And anytime we can come out and respond like that, we're going to have a great game. Somehow, somewhere, we're going to put it together within the first or second half. We're going to pull out the W. And we've been pulling it all together. Our offense is firing off on all cylinders. Over the top, Drake made a JJ for a big time 40-yard touchdown. You love to see it. And with us now being up 2 scores, 21-7, just here in the second quarter, momentum is in full swing on our side. And me picking up a 20+ yard carry on 1st and 10 does nothing but amplify that. Coming into this season, like I've said before, I didn't think I would fit into this offensive scheme well, but they've done a great job not only incorporating me as a runner, but also as a catcher out of the backfield. And one of my main focuses on the back half of this season, getting in between the tackles, using my physical gifts to pick up big yardage. But old habits do die hard. I should have hit this hole picking up the easy first, but instead I break it to the outside. But once again, those physical abilities to break multiple tackles and get us into the end zone, it all paid off. And then when you have a multitude of guys at different positions that can get it done and make big plays themselves, it just makes life a whole lot easier as a running back. And currently through 9 games, not only do I feel like we have one of the more explosive offenses in the ACC, but all of college football. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, averaging nearly 30+ points over the last 3 to 4 games, that's actually really insane. And of course, I walk out of here player of the game with over 200 yards rushing on the ground. And just like that, after 3 straight dominant games on the ground, I jumped my way right back into the Heisman conversation. I was just removed a couple of weeks ago. When you put your head down and focus, great things can happen. Our uniform combo this week against Pitt, probably one of my favorites thus far this season, but to open this game up the same way I have the last couple of games, but falling just short of making it into the end zone is crazy. And with 3 games left here in this season, as a freshman, I break the school record for the most rushing yards in a single season. How I see it now, my legacy really begins. Put my name in the record books at such an early point in my career as a freshman at such a prestigious school. Lined up in the slot here on 1st and 10, one-on-one with this safety over the top. He gets good depth, but he doesn't maintain the right outside leverage, makes for an easy catch and touchdown. Now with a 1-score lead at the start of the second quarter, taking his handoff on 2nd and 3, about to break it outside, but instead I get it the harder way. I go up the gap, break a tackle, and as soon as I thought I was going to take off, I get tripped up by the ankle. Hands down one of my favorite plays in our arsenal, the halfback screen. Great blocking up front from the big boys, but the DBs were all over it. Surrounded by 4 defenders, putting moves on everybody. On skates, I'm going crazy. Getting upfield, by the time I get tackled, I'm completely out of gas. And now here at the end of the second quarter, now going into the second half, easy handoff, walk-in touchdown. The blowout here in the first half is insane. And now here at this point, late in the third quarter, trying to go into the fourth with the same momentum in full swing. We're just trying to chew up the clock and get some yards, get into the end zone as much as we possibly can to put this game completely away. For maybe the 3rd or 4th time this season, our defense gives up the most points in the 3rd and 4th quarter than any other team in the entire country. A 1-score game here with 1 minute left in the 4th, and I pull off one of the nastiest runs I have all season. We pull off the road game win, but if our defense continues to fold like this late game, we're going to have to average 45 points offensively to win comfortably. Something I thought I would never hear or see a day in my life. 8-3 Old Dominion on the season. We gonna kick this on our first offensive play from scrimmage, making guys miss in open space, getting down the sideline, carrying a guy into the end zone, huge 70+ yard touchdown to kick this one off. But also making it happen here, catching the ball out of the backfield on 1st and 10, picking up 18 yards on this play could have easily been a house call if I would have got rid of this one defender. Inside zone here on 2nd and 1, taking his handoff, making it seem as though I'm finna take it all the way to the outside, but instead I take the step back inside, miss the holes, but the blocks up front are fantastic. To the crib I go for another huge touchdown. We go at the speed option here on 1st down. The second I get this pitch, I see the blocks up front. One guy that can stop me, I'm running through him like it's nothing. Up the numbers to the crib. They didn't stand a chance. At this point, I'm out here doing something you've never seen, playing with multiple play styles, running through, getting by, running past guys. I'm going crazy, doing something that's never been seen at this level. Now, I'm not saying there's never been a guy who can get it done inside and outside the tackles with speed and strength, but doing it at this level, this efficiently, come on. And then to be a valid receiver out of the backfield, and you can split me out wide at 6'3", 250. You've never seen a guy like that. If you have, name him. And at this point in the game here in the 3rd quarter with a 2-score lead, I know our defense, and I know they want to give it all up here in the 3rd and 4th quarter, so I'm going to continue to keep my foot on the gas. And I appreciate my coaches for being smart. They're not trying to get too fancy. We all know what can happen here late in this game, but they continue to feed the beast, and that's exactly how we're going to win these games. Taking a handoff here on 2nd and 5, and with these blocks up front, making a move in open space on one defender, nothing but green grass in front of me. I'm literally one good block away from taking us into the crib for another touchdown on the day. And honestly, to my surprise, midway through the 4th quarter, defense is holding up pretty strong, and I get the easiest walk-in touchdown of my life. My best statistical game I've had all season. Over 30 carries, 309 on the ground with 4 touchdowns, just 1 yard shy of 100 yards receiving with a touchdown through the air. It don't get no better than this. Final game of the season, we're ranked number 9 and our rival, Duke, is ranked number 14 in the nation. And getting sold by our defense today in a game of this magnitude against this opponent specifically should not, cannot, and will not be a valid option. Duke goes down to strike first. We got to hurry up and get into the end zone. It's already the 2nd quarter, and we need to get into the end zone before the half. And at this point, I think Duke gets the memo. Stack the box, keep me front of the ball, making explosive plays, force us to put the ball in the air, which we can do effectively, but they're really trying to kill our running game. And after marching our way all the way downfield, pretty much eating up the entire clock throughout the 2nd quarter, we finally make our way into the end zone, but we did get a field goal before, so we now own the lead. And hands down, one of the more useful, consistent weapons in all of this offense, my boy JJ. Him and Drake's connection has been insane this season. He makes a great catch putting us in the red zone. Finally get my opportunity to punch one in, get into the end zone, up in the score. We have a 10-point lead going into the second half. We got to keep going with this momentum. Not my most explosive game as an individual, but together as a team, we're getting it done on both sides of the ball. And taking this handoff here on 2nd and 3, picking up my biggest rush of the day. Let's go. And I couldn't tell you how we get here in the 4th quarter, being up multiple scores, now only up 5 points. A touchdown will win it. We punt this one off. We do secure the tackle to keep them getting to the end zone. We survive Duke at home. Throughout the entire season, me and Braylon Allen has been considered 1A, 1B for the Heisman Trophy, but it was obvious that he would win it. He has seniority, and he was a premier back of college football. He balled out, but I could have very much won it myself. But to be fair, within the running game, statistically across the board, he had better numbers. Not severely better, but they were better. Nonetheless, I balled out my freshman season, and I got so much time to prove myself and actually go win my own Heisman Trophy. Finished the regular season 11-1 to be ranked number 5 in the nation and have a Fiesta Bowl appearance, and your freshman running back is the runner-up for the Heisman Trophy. I would deem this season a success. But we all know the ultimate goal, to win that Heisman Trophy, to secure that national championship. Going into the next season, every single one of those things are obtainable. And I feel like this season we just made a statement. We're here to compete, and we're here to compete for a very long time at the highest level against pretty much anybody. And so far, everything's been good here on campus, back at the crib, securing a few NIL opportunities. I'm able to send money back home at any time, any amount. I'm able to look out for my folks while here, even at the college level. But like I've said early on through the season, like I've experienced throughout this season, to not get too high on the highs. I'm grateful, more than appreciative for everything that's transpired, but I gotta be aware of the things that can go wrong. But at the same time, it's all about perspective. When things do go wrong, or however they do quote unquote go wrong, I just have to remain focused, keep a steady head, and keep faith in my Lord and Savior, and I'll be fine. And even though this is a team game, at the end of the day, I feel like individually, we all have to have that mindset of making sure that I'm good. Once we're all good individually, when we come together, we're unstoppable. But Ohio State came to ball, now down 7 points here late in the third quarter, a huge hole up the middle, walking right through for the touchdown to tie this game up. And now here late in the fourth quarter, tied at 24-all, this is where big plays need to be made on both sides of the ball from either team to see who's going to come out here with the win. But in today's game, when you have not only one of the best running backs, but one of the best players in all of college football to chew up the clock, and a great kicker to go down and put one up, you know you're going to secure a win. We stunned the number 4 team in the nation, walk out of the Fiesta Bowl with a W. And at this rate, going into my sophomore season is going to be an absolute movie. Heisman Trophy and national championship is loading.